And like Shannon is recording, perfect. And yeah, we really appreciate you coming on to pour into our team. I know I didn't get to meet you in person, but we did get to do our little corporate power hour thing together, which was fun. And I'm sure that you met a lot of the people that are on here right now, but a lot of us also weren't there. So yeah. So yeah, I was just talking with Stacey a little bit and said that I would do a little bit of an interview style thingy, but that we can kind of organically go with the flow from there. So for all of you who do not know who Stacey is, so she is the, okay, wait, Senior Vice President of Field Development or something like that.
Perfect.
So perfect. So Stacey used to be in the field as a distributor. She had 2 ambassador accounts. Is that right, Stacey? We called it double ambassador on our thingy, but you had 2 separate ambassador accounts, right?
I had one. I was building my second one. So I had my second one all the way to double diamond. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So you know, a lot of us here might not even know what an ambassador account is. So I just wanted to kind of briefly touch on that so that you guys can understand what it takes to like build your business to this point, and that you can do it in like a small amount of time or a long amount of time. And eventually you're going to get there if you stick in the business, right? And you're consistent. So an ambassador diamond account has to have 2 triple diamonds and 1 presidential diamond on it. Okay, so what's a presidential diamond? That's 1 diamond, 1 double diamond, and 1 triple diamond. And then a triple diamond is 2 diamonds and a double diamond. So it's a lot of diamonds basically. But we all know that diamonds are made of rubies, and that's where this whole thing begins. So everyone here that is working towards being ruby or is currently ruby or above, you're all part of the bigger picture here, and that is the ambassador. So we can all get there. It's just a matter of doing all the things, and we're going to find out what those things are tonight because I don't know. So so Stacey, my first question for you is going to be, how did you go ambassador? Were you like a super crazy enroller? Were you a really big coacher? Did you just know a lot of people? Did you have a big network? Was it a combination? What kinds of things like led you to go from like, how did you get started and how did you make it all the way to ambassador?
Yeah, sure. Well, one, I'm so excited to be on. If you guys actually know why we're on, congratulations to Jillian. She was one of the top, she was the top follow-up Friday enroller. So that's last month. So that is why we're here. So so exciting. And I know it's month's end and all the things. I know what it feels like. I'm like, I'm trying to have conversations. I'm trying to listen at the same time. But as far as going ambassador diamond, I mean, for me, it was definitely everything, a little bit of everything. Because when I joined, I didn't see myself being successful in this business. Really, I was like, I'll try. And that belief had to grow. So that was one thing, right? But with every rank, that belief grew a little bit more, right? So going Ruby, I'm like, okay, I can go Ruby, right? That I was like, my first goal was like, if I go Ruby in a year, that will change our life. Like the extra $500 a month, $300 to $500 a month is life changing. And that's kind of where I thought, but I ended up going Ruby in 2 months and Diamond in my 3rd calendar month. So actually 4 months, kind of almost, but that I built to Diamond a lot with my warm market. I had a great warm market, and I will say sometimes we skip over, like it's like we're embarrassed or we're like trying to figure out, or we want to have success with strangers. But there's always people. You'd be surprised. I was surprised at who didn't want to support me, and I was surprised at who did want to support me. So you can be surprised by both of those things. But I would really encourage people, sometimes we go, hey, get up this host to post and get these people. And yes, that works. But while we're host to posting and all those things, don't forget that warm market that will go with you. But I will say this, who I went diamond with, was really not a lot of the same team as who I went triple diamond with. And who I went triple diamond with changed a lot to who I went ambassador with. And I don't know if you guys listened to Monday Motivations at all, but when Crystal Pearl was on a few weeks ago, she talked about, some are doorways, some people, and I don't mean this in any rude way, so please hear my heart when I say this. Some people are doorways to set, and some people are destinations, right? Some people, this is a doorway and it opens up opportunity for them to grow and believe and go do something else. Other people, it's like, wow, this is a destination person. This is someone who wants to be here and continue to grow and go forward that way. And so when I think about this, I did it all. I did it all scared and nervous, whatever Sherry Lynn would tell me to do. I'm not the red. I don't know if you guys do personality a lot, but I am not the red go-getter. I am a yellow blue. So I'm like, how do I serve people so they won't ditch me? And right, that's the yellow in me. And then the blue is like, I want to have fun and I just love being around people. So those two together is where I'm at. My red is probably, I don't know, my red and green are like way at the bottom. Okay. So I'm like, details and driving people was something I had to really learn and gather through this business. So just because you're not a certain personality doesn't mean you can't grow. But guess what? With that, sometimes we think we have to change, but you don't have to change. You just have to become a better version of yourself, right? You're like, you are who you are. And so with that, I mean, like trying to think, how can you say you went ambassador? Were some of the people when we were there, I told them I actually built to ambassador 3 different times before I went. So bringing in all those people, I still wouldn't consider myself a mass enroller. Kind of my last year in the field. So last year, right around this time, that last year I was in was my biggest enrolling. I'm like, I got this down. I can enroll, anywhere from 6 to 10 distributors a month and about 15 to 20 PMs a month. That's kind of where I was. Now, at the beginning, I was like a 2 to 3 distributors kind of, and like 5 to 8 PMs. That's kind of where I would say my averages were at the beginning. So I would learn, right? We would do lots of things and I would teach people, and some people would catch vision and you'd get these mass enrolling people, but then you'd get people who were so good at training. And so it's like raising kids a little bit, right? Like what Issa, so we got to meet Issa, my 18-year-old I have to parent her differently than I parent Allie, my 15-year-old. There's some things that are the same, right? It's like the message is always the same, but sometimes the method is very different. And so getting to know the people who join you and where their strengths are and how they can grow too. It's like, wow, this person will never step up and say a thing, and they could be amazing at how they could coach, how they could do this, but until they're given the opportunity, this person won't shut up, they're just driving and ready to go and run, and so it's giving people freedom to go for it and go both ways. And so with that, there's a momentum that happens. And I feel like this business to me, and I don't know how many of you are into this, but I think I've gone surfing like 3 times in my life, but I will say when you're surfing, right, you got to swim out with the board and you got to dive under those waves. And sometimes that wave like crashes you back. But if you're going surfing, you don't just like go out once and get crashed back and go, oh, I guess I'm not surfing today, right? But that's how some people treat the business. Like, oh, guess it's not for me, right? But no, let's figure out how to dive down under the wave so you can get out, right? And so you get that going. And then you're out there and it's not like, well, now I'm out here. I mean, when's the wave coming, right? And you like, wait, you're not going to catch a wave if you're sitting there waiting it, but you gotta, when the wave is coming, you paddle so you can, the timing's right? To really catch that wave. And so at the same time, you paddle and you miss the wave, same thing, right? You don't go, oh, guess I shouldn't be surfing today, right? Like, no, I'm going to paddle again when the next wave comes. I'm going to ride in. And here's the other thing. You ride it in and lots of momentum's happening and lots of flow is going. And then just because you rode the wave in and caught an amazing wave doesn't mean, oh, I'm done. Like, oh, I went diamond, like, cool. Right. But then you're like, no, you become addicted to something. You want to go back out and do it again and do it again. And so as far as for the rubies on here, what does it take to go ambassador? Honestly, you're doing the exact same things over and over and over again. There's power in your consistency. And in that consistency, you learn what really works for you and what doesn't, right? Like I can be like, wow, or I can learn how to twist and adjust, right? There were times where it was like, wow, when I started, we didn't have host to post. Okay, that's how long I've been around. So I know you guys are big host to posters, but we didn't have host to post. We would what I did was message 100 people on Instagram a day, and then post on my Facebook different things before there were lives. Then when it realized, oh, there's lives, I would do live challenges when those first came out. Then all of a sudden stories came a part of something. Then we were like, oh, we can host a post and get people to post for us. How genius is this? I also had parties in my house, or had, when my teammates would start, we would go do in-person parties. So we just did everything and figured out what worked, because guess what? Life is full of transitions. And so, you just keep transitioning what you have, because we have something so good. This is what I know. The products changed our lives. My husband lost 50 pounds, doing in 5 months, back in the day, doing greens, fat fighters, and thermal fight X. So we still have those products. We didn't have coffee. We didn't have a lot of things, but those were what he did. And it changed his life, right? I'll never forget the doctor saying, you just added 20 years to your life by losing that weight. I'm like, done. Okay. So we have that own personal testimony, and you might have a different place, like where your testimony lies, right? Or the people. But what I would do is I would always save, I have a roll in my camera roll of testimonies of people, because that kept me encouraged. Like, where's my encouragement file, right? This is what I get to do. Like, I'll never forget the grandma saying, I got to get down on the floor and play with my grandchild today. I've never been able to do that. To me, I'm like, oh, that's there's my yellow, right? Getting fed, right? I'm like, this is awesome. This is what I get to do. And then two, I realized what this did for our family financially, changed our lives. Like 100%, right? I have to be a little bit careful with compliance and all those things now, but like, this has not happened for everybody who does the business. But, I had a heart attack when I was 29 years old, and that put us in massive medical debt, and changed my life in so many crazy ways. But this business helped us pay that off. And that was something we weren't planning for, right? We worked in we were ministry. We weren't building a savings account because there was no extra money. We now have a savings account. Our parents used to pay for our vacations, right? We used to wait till they sent us money for Christmas, and then we'd figure out what we were going to buy the girls. But we were creative. But to not have to do that anymore was life-changing and freeing. But then where it became a tool that I became passionate about is like when my sister-in-law bought a special needs bike for my nephew that they couldn't afford. I'm like, oh, that's what I get to help people do. Or a girl named Melissa threw her first birthday party for her daughter when she was 5 years old. I'm like, this is fun. Like, this is so exciting, right? These are the things that motivate me and keep me going on those days. And so how did I go Ambassador Diamond? I don't know, but that's a lot, right? Here's the other thing I'll tell you. Your DTs that you enroll are like a deck of cards. Okay. So right, they're the ace. You want the aces, right? But you flip it and you get a 6. 6 pretty cool, right? So you're like, all right, maybe I could work with a 6. We'll see. They could maybe become a queen. And then they flip another one. Oh, it's a 4. Okay. A 5. Cool. Oh, a queen, right? We have somebody we're working with, a jack, but I'm going for those aces. And some people, you turn your first card and they're an ace. Well, there's another 4, right? Ace, boom, we'll have somebody I'm running with. Awesome. The next one is maybe a 10, and then a king. Cool. I'm on a flow. A 5. Oh, I must be losing my mojo. No, it's just people, right? Like, there is a little bit of a 2. Like, what are we going to do with this one? I don't know. We could work with them, but here's the thing. You might think you're signing a 2 and they might be a king. And you might think you're signing a king and they're a 2, right? Like, you don't know until they get in, but you got to keep offering it to people. And sometimes we go, they're a 2. I stink at signing it. No, you don't stink at signing distributors. You don't know how a person's going to be. You're offering the same opportunity to everybody, right? But then we keep flipping the cards until we get our next ace. And that's what you got to do with this business a little bit. You can't get emotionally attached to how these people perform, right? And if I go, oh, this 5, I'm just waiting for them to become a 10. I know they're a 10, right? Like that's sometimes what we do. Like if they would just do this, and we get so excited about this person that's not excited about themselves, right? And we try, and then we're like, right, where we could be going, I'm going to flip another card and see who else is in here. And there's a 10, right? So just remembering, hey, some people are going to catch the vision and some aren't. And some people are really going to grow, and they're going to grow and catch the vision. And you just got to keep flipping the cards a little bit to be successful in the business.
Wow. That is a lot of amazing analogies. I really like that card one. That is fantastic. Definitely you guys take note of that, because that is like a perfect description of, you know, bringing people onto your team. You just don't know. You don't know what they're going to be like. You don't know what everyone's capable of. The people that you assume are going to be one way are totally a different way. You think someone has a personality over here and it's actually over here. And yeah, amazing. Okay, well, that's fantastic. So obviously, if you weren't like a huge crazy enroller, then it must have been a lot of like leadership development and team development and working with people one-on-one, maybe, I don't know. So how did you develop yourself first as a leader, like on your own, before you moved on to start developing other leaders?
Okay, so one, I want to be careful, right? Because I don't want anybody to disqualify themselves that are on this call, because there's no need for you to do that. And there's different seasons in this business that require different things from you. So one, I am I like developing people. I like seeing people succeed. So that did happen. One of the things I did is I really plugged in to anything we had. Right. We didn't have a 10 then. We had like a kind of like the Monday motivation, and we had the Sunday night live. Other than that, I don't really know what It Works did besides those 2 calls. Our team would do an online party, not video, not that stuff. It was just pictures with descriptions popping up, and we would tag people and talk in the party while it was going. Okay. We would do things like that. But I plugged in to what we had. Now that grew and changed into so much more. So by plugging in, I was getting fed and confident that I could turn around. So I learned tricks like, hey, did you hear what Sherry Lynn said? This person's doing this. You want to try this? Hey, we need to work this way. Hey, let's send this message in. Oh, I heard this before and after gets lots of comments. Okay. So like taking what successful people were doing, because that's what they'll always say, success leaves clues. So a lot of times with me, I felt like I was just a messenger in a sense, but I had to learn, right, with my team, my voice matters. So Shannon might be super powerful, or Jillian might be super powerful, and you're bringing people in, and then you're not saying anything because you feel like they're saying it all. I want you to know your voice really matters, right? Your people signed with you. And so echoing what leaders are saying is going to be really helpful. Copying them. So, but one of the things I would do too is I did 3-way chats all the time. So as I was building, whether I was placing with somebody and that was my new DT, I never left my new DT with someone and just said, that's your person now. I don't know how you guys build that way. So I want to be careful, because everybody has different philosophies that they build. Also, when new DTs would bring in a new DT, I would be in the chat with them, and they would learn what I was saying, and they would learn, right? And we know, here's the biggest thing. When people can win in their first week, whatever a win is, right? Set that goal with them, what their win is. They'll get addicted to winning. Okay. So for some people, their first goal, I remember I said, it's like kids, right? So how are you going to do that? Some people, it's putting up a post. I mean, I was scared. I remember I was scared out of my mind to put up that wrap belly before and after as a pastor's wife. Okay. I was like, can I put this on my page? Like, what's going on here? So I take some time to really celebrate people, because that's a big deal to them. Some of them, they don't care, right? Like their big thing is they want that first PM, or they want that first bonus. So looking at them to have that first goal, and really and part of the goal being effort that you get to celebrate, so they feel like they're winning. And the other part is knowing what their first wins really are and being able to celebrate those things. So Then going into, we always had our charts. Like I can show you right now because we're in my desk and I have never got rid of these. Okay. Yeah. As I sit here, because I need to remember what it feels like to be in the field. But I have all these. Okay. This was Ashley's leg right here. And I could come in here and pull out. Here's diamond charts, right? And I updated these every month. And I would come in and go, okay, Jovette right here, she has 2,000 in volume right now, right? And then we'd be able to go, what's Tony doing, right? And then we could get in a group chat with Tony, and then what's Jasmine doing, all right? And so this was my way to always stay in conversation, was knowing what the people's goal are, what they were going, right? And then in Tanya's chat, I would get her leader and we would talk. So I spent a lot of time explaining and letting people know where their goals were too and what they wanted to succeed at.
That is awesome.
I mean, they're just tons of folders with charts, but people knew their goal. It's the roadmap, right? And we knew where we were going, and no one follows a parked car. So you want to know where you're going with your people. They want to know that you know where you're going, and then go. No holds bar, all the things.
That's great with the charting too. Yeah, fantastic. The three-way chats I've found have been really helpful too, especially like we've just revamped our new distributor training. So like helping your team coach their team has been pretty fun so far. So yeah. And I mean,
we do power hours, that was a huge thing that we all did together. So I always, even until we came in, my Saturday power hour was always for new people. We always explained every task we were doing. Every Saturday, I would explain the 6 tasks. I can still tell you them from my head, right? Like we interact, we grow our market, we plant our seed by inviting people to host a post or become a distributor. We follow up, we post, and we grow our mindset. So that's those. And I would just explain those every Saturday. So everybody knew they could invite their team on. And you know what? It started with like 6 of us on a screen. And then it grew to Saturdays that were over 100 of our team on there with that. So it's just being consistent with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great too for like team camaraderie and, getting to know each other, because that's how we all get to know each other. Like, we have our little Monday night team huddle but even just regular trainings, it's like I've gotten to know so many of these people just through power hours and trainings. And then of course, in person, once you can get there, right? Yeah. And I've heard a few times, like from other leaders in the business, that they say, you have to be a certain rank before you even have my attention. And it does not sound like you are even remotely of that mindset. It sounds like you are like totally a people person who grabs somebody's hand right when they start their business and holds it and helps them through those first steps, which I think is really important. So like to be an ambassador, you must be very busy. Like you have a lot of team members that you have to kind of speak with. So I guess it sounds like you're empowering your team by doing these three-way chats. Did you do any other kind of things to help empower leaders, to help them step more into a leadership role, to show that they can also coach their downline into, where they want to go?
I think just being a part of it and having those conversations, we also had a group chat, we had a team page, it just grew and expanded with everything. So then it'd be like, hey, can I interview you on our team huddle tonight? Hey, on Tips from the Top, you're really one of our top enrollers. We'd love for you to talk about how you're enrolling new customers, things like that, that would give them different opportunities to lead and learn how to do their business.
That's good. And that way everyone kind of has a chance to have their voice heard, and it makes you feel like you're a part of something, right? So yeah. That's awesome. And then, okay, so it sounds like obviously we know our business is built on like duplication, tons of duplication. Was your whole thing back when you were first building, was it a 4-in-1 type thing? Was it different than what we do now? like how did you duplicate back then versus how did
Yep.
you duplicate last year?
So we screamed, we even had a song for it, our steps to success, right? For now I'm like PMs. They used to be LCs. So 3D 4 LCs, 3DTs. This is how you make the money go Ruby. So we talked about our steps to success and going Ruby constantly, right? There wasn't the bonuses for new people. So that's a huge thing. Part of why we had this quick start come was because everybody knew when you get to diamond, you're making money. But how can you make money getting to diamond? So what's the goal right now? Hey, when you come in, teach your new person 4 PMs, 1 DT, right? How are we going to do that? Where's your list? Who are people that will support you? Who would, pick up your kids if you were sick, or bring you soup, or, build that chicken noodle soup list? Who are people that you really know would do this business with you? How can we get you winning in these areas? So for us, we called our steps to success. Now it's your 4 and a friend, and then we do it again, and then we do it again, and then we do it again. And now what's cool is our new distributor is getting money, getting bonuses for doing that. And then there's the matchup bonus that we get for doing that. And so it's fun that it rewards you both, right? And then as they start getting that money, the goal is, hey, do it 3 times. That's a builder bonus. You're built for Ruby. Ruby's the foundation of our company. Rubies build diamonds. Diamonds build ambassadors, right? Do you know ambassador aside, there is a rank called Black Diamond, which is you're making $100,000 a month. You can, in our compensation plan, go Black Diamond as a triple diamond. You don't have to go ambassador to make that much money. So what is that? It's personally enrolled diamonds. So I know I'm talking big and comp, but that's why we want you having people learn how to go Ruby, right? Because we know Rubies build diamonds, and then we know what diamonds do for everybody, right? So does that help?
That is amazing. Black Diamond. I love it.
Let's go. Who's going Black Diamond on here, right?
I wish they had a Black Diamond emoji. I would be like throwing it in the chat like crazy. Okay. Well, that is amazing. And then, okay, final thing that I want to ask before I'm going to open it up to the floor, because I'm sure you guys all have some questions here, is how did you find the time to raise such an amazing daughter, or 2 daughters? Because from what I heard, someone on this Zoom asked me why your daughter is so nice and amazing, and how are you able to like balance work life with coaching? Like, didn't you have a million coaching calls to deal with? Didn't you have like how do you do that?
Hi, Crystal. I love you. I saw your face on there earlier. I'm like, I need to say hi. Yes, Issa is a very sweet girl. I will tell you, she was a terrible toddler. Okay. So you saw things after we kind of honed her strong will into a certain way. But that I will say Jesus, one, I will not take credit for that girl in that sense. But I started when Issa was 8 years old and Allie would have been 6, I think. So now we're 18 and 15. Okay. They're 2.5 years apart. So their seasons of life, right? You're might be in a different season than I'm in, or I ever was when I started this business. But I will tell you, Kelly Brown was one of my first distributors after I went diamond that joined me, and she's an ambassador diamond as well. But she was in the thick of it, right? When she joined. So you learn how raising your kids and doing this, can you have both 100% without being a unicorn 100%, right? There are the people that we just go, I don't know how they get what they get. They just seem like lucky, right? But I felt that sometimes in this business, but I can say from me, it was just consistency. You can win when you're consistent. So I want you to know that. And the same with your family. So there were things that are important to me. So what I first did was, like, right when I was getting started, was like, I need to put in an hour to 2 hours a day was where I was trying to, while I was working full time, not in full chunks, but like that was kind of like my thought, like I'm gonna put in an hour every day into my business, right? Then it shifted to having blackout times for my family because it's hard to control. Like I'm going to send out all these messages, but I don't know when anybody's going to respond to me. I don't know when they're going to start asking questions. I don't know all these things. So there is no It Works emergency. Okay. They're still going to be in your inbox, right? So you have to be disciplined a little bit, right? We do want to be, assertive and quick, but just think about it. You sent all those messages out. How many people got back to you and how long, right? So there were important times that I would hold my girls. At one point, I was doing a university model school. So we actually, in a sense, homeschooled certain days of the week and things like that. So I've done a lot of different parenting things with them, but this is what I learned. I would black out time. So, hey guys, but my girls were old enough to understand it. So, hey girls, I'm putting your phone away in my room. What are we going to do for the next little bit? You decide, right? Like you get to decide for the next hour, or what do we want to do tonight? Dinner time. I never had my phone on me at dinner time. I don't want them on their phones at dinner time. That's just a family thing. So we would sit around. Now, then it became crazy. Like we don't have dinner together, like in high school. Like when are the important times that we want to invest and have conversations and value the people in our life? So am I on my phone when they get up to go to school? No. You're going to be gone for now, like 10 hours. That's for my girl because of all their after school things and all the things, right? So for this, I have all that time, but I need to be disciplined in that time. So things I would make sure I look them in the eye every day. Did I look them in the eye? I want you to think about that because we can do a lot of things in passing. And so just take a moment and go, hey, how are you today? Right? We do highlights of the day at dinner time. So just trying to put value on them and placing value on them, made them a part of goals that I had, so they could see that we did dream boards together. So then they could say, hey, I'm working at this, right? Or I'm doing this goal. And when I hit it, we're going to get to do this as a family. And so I'm talking a lot about how I would grow through this business and things that were hard, or, you know what I mean? Like just being like, let them become kind of like my best friends and people I valued with. So just knowing those times, but with that, if I didn't consistently put good time into my business, it was hard for me to focus with my family. I always felt torn between, right? So it's just knowing in this season, what are the pockets and what are the things that are most important and when are those getting done? And just being able to sift through that, right? Like when they're home in the summer, that looks very different than when they're not home, but I'm still going to work my business. I'm still going to do these things. Hey, right now, mommy's doing this, but when I'm done, I'm put my phone down and we get to do whatever. And they were old enough to understand that at times because I'd been consistent with it before too. I don't know if any of that really helps. And you pray for your kids and they're important things that God's entrusted and put in your lives. And so anytime you can speak life over them, you don't need to, I think moments don't have to be valued by minutes, right? So like, are you there in the moments? I mean, Issa, you love her. We just broke up with her boyfriend. It's been heartbreaking this last 2 weeks. Okay. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. We're crying over it, things. And I'm like, I got to go to this meeting really quick. And but just how, like, they're people, they're going to grow up and you don't want to miss it. So I will say that in that, but you get to create your schedule, be disciplined in your business, be disciplined in your family. You can do both. It's going to take some work a little bit and it's going to constantly change. You're going to just get it figured out and it's going to shift again. And I don't know if that's helpful to any of you, but that's just part of it. It's constantly moving. It's constantly going, okay, where do we need to be? But I will tell you this, the best advice I ever got was be where your feet are. So when I'm in my business, I'm going to be where my feet are and go hard at it. And when I'm in my family life, I'm going to be where it's at and go hard in it. But then my kids know my team, right? They know the people, they care about them. They love them too. Or so they're in it with us too. So, okay.
Wow. No, that's amazing. That is that is not what I expected at all. So I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so I mean, I'm sure that there's tons of girls out there that want to ask some questions. So if anybody wants to go ahead and jump in, feel free.
I'm gonna ask. Okay, my kids are here, so don't mind if they're loud. But mine is more so leadership. I told Jillian, I'm like, ask her all the questions on leadership, which I know we kind of talked about a little bit before, but more so for anyone who's nervous to step into leadership, what would you recommend to encourage them? Self-development, getting them to take steps. And also after that fact, when they do step into that, I know a lot of it obviously is duplication, but helping them to go into that next level and develop their own people versus you developing your people and then, you know, developing theirs. Like after that, what are the next layers to help it continue on down through your organization and help everyone succeed?
Okay. One, I think it's important, and I'm speaking on a panel next week, or next month. And it's about leadership. And I think it's important. Some people are very scared of that word. They don't think they're leaders, right? If you're on here right now, and when you started this business, or even right now, if you feel like I'm not really a leader, put a 1 in the chat, right? Like me, I was like, I don't know. I like take care of my kids, but like I'm a leader in my family. So, how do you take care of your family? What's important for your family? What's important for your business? You need to know you are the lid on your business. So even though you are on, I don't know everybody's, whose team we're all on, but you're on Jessica's or in Shannon, and you're like, well, it's on them. But there comes a point that your personal organization you are the lid on it. So you have to lift the lid of that. Now, what happened for me? My leadership grew more when I became more confident as an enroller too. Like there was a point where I was like, I can tell and I can teach and I can encourage, but I also need to lead by example. Now, I'm being careful when I say that because not everybody in here might be this mass, this great big PM roller or this great big DT enroller. So part of it is, being able to help people figure out where their strengths are in this business and let them run with that. So I think sometimes I wouldn't say a lot. I have this conversation now more like, hey, you need to step up in leadership. But when I was there, I wasn't going, hey, you have to be a better leader, because that scares people, right? That word scares people sometimes. So, hey, would you ever think about running a power hour? Could you and I run it together? Right. And then we're doing it together and they're giving tips. Or on my Saturday power hours, I might just call somebody out like, hey, hey, we're doing this right now. But you know what? I just heard Yadisa's story. Yadis, share your story really quick, and she's on the spot, but it doesn't matter. She shares it. There's some people that need that, right? Then it looks like, hey, will you post a reminder on our team page? That would really help me. Right. So like some people are going to step into leadership because it's going to help you. That's their normal personality. Some people are going to just naturally want to run the whole thing and be in complete control. I think you kind of got those people figured out, but also pull to the people like, hey, this would really help me. That was what I needed when Sherry Lynn would say, hey, if you did this, like if you posted every week about this, that would be very helpful. And then people started to get familiar with my name just by posting something either in our group chat or on our, on our page or whatever, anything like that. And so and then I would always say, and this is one of the most important things, is your voice matters. So that's why I would always tell all my people, hey, will you share that tip you just gave? Because your voice matters. And I think it's important for you to hear. So I love that. There's a great book called 360 Leadership is one of my favorite leadership books by John Maxwell. And it talks about how to lead from every position you're in, which I think covers this business, right? There are places where I'm in that I might be the top leader, but then there's other places where I'm in the middle. And then there's other places where I'm more in the bottom, but I can still be a leader in those places by how I use my voice and how I take my action. So that's one of the best books I would do. But I think you have to, well, we have to normalize though leadership because people don't see themselves as leaders. So be careful when you're asking somebody, they're expecting, describe what that is, define what that is for you. What is a leader? Like, what does that mean? I don't know. I'm like, if I say that, what does a leader mean? I mean, put some comments in the chat, like think about it for a second. What does a leader mean? Like, hey, step into leadership. What does that even? People don't have a definition except like the principal of the school, the CEO of the company, right? Like, so I love that, Crystal, someone that guides and teaches. Okay, that's a leader. Okay, I could do that. I can guide and teach, right? But I'm like, don't give me a microphone. Don't give me a microphone to put me in front of people, or don't, right? So taking away the stigma of what, Cassie Westland is an incredible leader. Guess what? She would never speak for forever. Not on the stage. Nothing. She's like, please do not ask me to speak. Please do not put me out there. Please do not. Right. And so, but she's now grown into that. I love when she talks. I mean, she's like, it's such a gift. But so I think it's important to help define what leadership is and what you want. And sometimes it's coming, hey, who wants opportunities? Hey, who wants to help? You're going to get two leaders, different leaders from that group. And then kind of knowing what things you could, whether it's tasks or it's, hey, will you, I don't know. We did Jesus calling one time when I was just getting started with my leaders. And so I would have somebody video every night, like what's their takeaway from the Jesus calling book that we'd read together. And so that's how I grew some of my leaders, starting some power hours. That's how I grew some of my leaders. I mean, there's just so many, in the conversations we were in, there's so many ways to truly develop people. And I think that's what a leader does. They help give vision and they help guide people to accomplish the vision, and help people decide what their vision is too. Does that help at all? 360 leader. There's so many leadership books, so I could tell you, like, I should have Joey make a list. I'll have Joey make a list and send it. How about that? Because he knows all the leadership books. He loves it.
Awesome. That was a lot of info about leadership. I really like that Leadership 2.0 book that so Jess reads that one, Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. She reads that one on the Power Hour. We finished it last month, right? Yes. I don't know. Anyway, that was a really good one, and it really helped me like see a lot about like my team and like pouring into the team and how you can like help develop other leaders. And honestly, like I feel like there have been a lot of people in this entire like sideline sisters, everything that have really stepped it up in the last couple of months as leaders that are like willing to try doing their own thing. Like we're going to have some collaborative team trainings where we're going to bring some other leaders on to do them with like myself and Crystal and Shannon and we're also going to have people doing like other power hours. So it's just, super fun. Does anybody else have any other questions for Stacey?
I'll ask a question. Okay, so when you're flipping your deck of carbs and you're like, someone is a 5, but you just like see so much potential in them and you're like, they could be a 10, they could be a king. Like, how do you know, I don't want to say when to like stop pushing them, but they just like don't get to where you expect. Does that make sense? Like how far do you push?
Okay. So there's a few things like one of the things that was really hard for me in this business is letting go of anybody. Like they're not doing a thing. And I'm like, hey, want to do that? And wasting so much energy. Right. But I needed closure. So I needed a statement like, hey, I realize now probably isn't a great time for you. With every, if they were always coming up with excuses or always, if they're not really, so I'm talking about really not right now, I'm talking about not working the business period, but just kind of or, those new people, then I would say, but when it is the right time, I will be here. So I'm closing weight off me to go, when you're ready to do this, right? Then there's some people, like when I would do my charts, right? I would go, I always had these people show up, these people are running, these people are new, right? And then these people aren't doing a thing, but got built, by the way it all turned out, right? That happens at times. So knowing, hey, if they're still showing up, because they're not the leader I want them to be, I don't want to let go of them, right? We need the people that will sign 4 PMs a month and just be happy and run their auto ship, right? Like you want that for them. And that's something that can be hard. Like I remember more so for Sherry Lynn, John would be like, Sherry Lynn, not everybody wants to be an ambassador diamond. Like you're scaring all your people away because you're pushing them so hard, right? But that's more her personality. And so they had to have that conversation. She's like, oh, why? Like, why wouldn't everybody want to be an ambassador diamond, right? Which is so awesome. But so with that, when you see the 5, remember every 8 months, life really changes. So there are times when people, you could see the potential and it's not lining up for them, but they'll jump back in. So kind of knowing, hey, if they're still showing up and they're happy to just be in and around, cool. I'm cool with that. But as far as really giving my time to somebody that isn't really moving forward in a huge way, like, I mean, there are people who be like, go and roll a PM and then talk to me, right? Like there's definitely that philosophy in places. And at sometimes that is kind of called for, right? You have to guard your time to build your business with team members. But I always left a way for them to come to me still, no matter what. Like I will always be here. I always want you apart, so but also closing that door. So I didn't feel like, are you in today? Are you out? Are we going today or not? I don't know. I'm trying to reach you and figure this out. But giving a way to release yourself from them in a sense, because if they're not going to really step up and do it, right? Actions do speak louder than words. So you always have the people like, I'm ready to run this month, life really happened. You're like, and you're like, let's go. But, which that's the beauty of this business though. Anybody you can decide at any point and really run in this business, which is awesome, but guard your time properly, know who you're going to really pick to run with, right? Like that's one thing John's doing right now at corporate is like, who are the people who are my 10 people in this corporate team that I'm going to go the next level with? Because I'm going to the next level. I'm trying to find my team right now. And it can't always be the personal people that we like. Right? It's like Mark Pentecost says that someone told him this, you can make as much money as you can put up with people. And I'm like, that's pretty true of this business. I'm like, yeah, I had people on my team I probably wouldn't hang out with normally, but they're kind of my best friends. Part of it is I'm glad, if I had prejudged them, but like at the same time, like, I don't know that they'd be my number one person normally, but this is who God put in my hand. So we'll go with it.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So kind of putting the ball in their court, not putting it on yourself to like always check in with them and always be like pushing them, give the ball back to them to decide.
100%. You don't want to play catch with yourself.
Yeah.
That's exhausting. Like, think about it. I'm throwing you the ball. Oh, let me run over there really quick, grab your hand, pick up the ball, throw it back to me, and let me catch it, and I'm going to throw it back to you. Some of y'all are doing that with this business, and you need to kind of stop. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's draining you.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Actually, I'm going to ask one more question. I'm going to sneak in again. So I have definitely been finding, I don't know if it's just like the time of year and obviously like the season of the business, but so many people are just not even starting. Like they sign up and they're gone. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't understand. So how did you guys launch new distributors? Is there something like right off the bat, like the first thing you did with them to like get them like really excited? Like, did you right away get them on a call? Or were you like right away, let's put up a post? Or
I would try to get my people into income producing tasks right away. Because honestly, with this business, the people who stick around are the ones who are, there's ones that stick around for the friendship 100%. But as far as like an overall picture, if they're making money within their first 30 to 90 days, they're more likely to stick around, right? So with those very first people, but again, it goes back to kind of kids. Like I don't have a one, I would try, right? So like, because I normally was voice memoing, I was always voice memoing before somebody signed. And so just because I was telling them my story and what opportunity was and all that kind of stuff. So I would ask them a little bit, but generally I had my first people, hey, let's put up this host a post, like, hey, here's the goal. I want you making this 150 right away. Well, I'm saying 201, right? Is that what we make in Canada? 201. So let's get this 201 right away by getting your 4 PMs and your distributor. One of the ways it's going to help you is by putting up this post. Would you put it up? And I'll help you with all the conversation that comes from it. So I would have my new DTs put up my host a post that I was asking people to put up. But if they didn't have right, not everybody has a great algorithm right away. So I might also too have them put up like an interactive post that wasn't just to get traction going before they put up that host a post. And if people weren't comfortable with that, I'd have them do an announcement because some people, not very often, but some people would be like, I don't know, and then I could tell you sometimes we did that and people had comments and it scared them. So it's like, but don't be scared. But so kind of get into that first thing. Hey, I want you to get this post up. I'm going to teach you everything, but you're going to learn the most by doing. So I don't want you to feel scared. And I told you before you even signed up, we're going to walk through this together. And so, hey, here's the post. And then once the post is up, okay, while this post is up, because we want you making that one, like right now, what I'd be doing is in the app, getting that tracker print. Hey, let's print this up. This is our goal, right? Like we're going to dig into a lot more things. I'm going to, teach you a lot more things, train you, but like to get this goal. Okay. While this post is up, some people have an incredible warm market. Some people, they don't, but that's okay. We're still going to try, who are some people you think would love to try the products at your wholesale pricing? Come up with a list. Who are some people you think might do this business with you? So the host to post is going, and then we're looking at them. We're starting their potentials list and their chicken noodle soup list and all that kind of stuff. And then, reaching out and getting those wins right away and helping them with the conversation. Okay, send this. So that is a lot, but if they catch on and they start right, they're more invested in. So there are other people that would tell you, get on the phone with them, ask them their goals, do all these things. I kind of got into action and then got into more of the conversation with them, but kind of let them go either way. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Thank you.
There is, you can't stop it. I just got off the phone with one of that was a triple diamond on my team. And she's like, I've signed 11 and 3 of them are working. And I'm like, yep, that's perfect numbers. You know what I mean? Like that's I'm like, you're doing great. Keep those 3 with you, and let's keep going for more. So that's why when people get in trouble when you're signing, 2 or 3, then your numbers, it's just going to take a little bit longer, and that's okay. Right? It's okay. There's people who miss all the quick starts or going Ruby or not signing a distributor for 6 months that still go ambassador. So we have to be careful like that. There's not a chance for people if they're not like right away. But the beauty of our quick start program, which wasn't a part of our success program, is they have their full 3 calendar months to really win, which it's not, hey, 30 days while you're out, let me jump to the next person. So I think too, we're more aware now because we weren't just flipping people and making success bonuses that it just kind of didn't matter. Now we're more aware like, oh, let me slow down a second or let me figure out, oh, people are just jumping out or not talking to me anymore. Before it was like, it didn't really matter. Right. So, we're going on a run, guys. And it's so exciting because we're really building businesses again. And it's so fun. I feel like I've had the gift of gab tonight, y'all. So
Thank you so much though. Like all this information's amazing and I think that we can take a lot from it and I'm probably going to have to go back and watch this a few times and just take some notes because there was so much good stuff in here. So yeah, we really, really, really appreciate you taking the time and uh, I think you said you were going to aim for about 20 minutes and we did almost an hour. So thank you so much for that because you know, I know you've got your family and you've got things that you're doing and you're probably traveling all the time. So yeah, we greatly, greatly appreciate you taking the time to jump on here and yeah, just keep plugging away and
Absolutely, y'all. I'm pumped for this month's end too. I'm so proud of you. Just know you're setting yourself up. Just run through this month to keep setting yourself up for next month that we're going to have the best fall, winter. It's going to be so fun. So proud
I'm
of you guys.
excited.
Yeah.
okay, thank you, Stacey.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, Jillian. Cheers.